All right. We're talking about handling the highs. So yeah, it's basically we're going to be discussing just the how are we handling those exciting big moments with just like exhilarating,
Uh-huh. Very exhilarating.
Yeah.
Big moment.
What was the most exhilarating moment you've experienced since founding your startup, and how did it shape your vision moving forward?
Like, are we talking past or right now? What
We
are we
can go
talking
right
about?
now. We can go past whatever. It's up to you,
Well,
Eric.
when I realized my e-commerce store had done 100K in a week for the first time in my life, I felt like I did not have a burden of money. And it's interesting because I didn't realize how I didn't I didn't realize it was there and how much like how restrictive I was. And it was just the feeling of wow, I felt like I could do whatever I wanted. And so that was very exhilarating. And then we went and spent 20K in San Francisco eating French cheese and oysters. And
I love it.
got a private banker at Chase named William. And then the end of that week, that's when the my supplier ran off with another 20K. So it didn't last very long, but how did it shape going forward? Well, it definitely expanded my idea of what money is to me. And it definitely changed the way that I look at money, that it is possible, it is attainable. You can do 100K in a week. You don't need to be a huge company to do that. You as an individual can do that, and you just have to keep working at it, and it is possible. And I did the online agency and stuff, which did good. I mean, it did 100K in a year on that, and that was like my biggest client, 120. And that was the year. And that was the year I was learning how to do e-commerce and learning how to do marketing and everything. So to do 100K in a week just blew my entire mind. Like, oh my goodness, like I did 100K in a year, and I just did that in a week. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And yet it's possible.
Yeah.
So it just completely changed my outlook. Like my goals were too small. My vision was too small. That was one of my favorite quotes was something I have it posted on my Facebook profile, but it's something like if you're satisfied with the goals that you've obtained, your goals weren't big enough or something like that.
Yeah.
It's like your vision's too small. So clean space for going big. Okay.
Going
we're
big,
all
man.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, what's one of your most
is big
exhilarating moments in business?
I had decided to get into copywriting, and it had been 3 months. And I'd had some small jobs and stuff, keep the lights on. And there was an influencer who I'd done some work with before, and he announced something, on social media. And so I sent him an email that he could send out to his list, email from his point of view as him. And this was before ChatGPT, like long before ChatGPT, so I couldn't feed in his information and get something similar. So it sounded like him. And he gave me a quick challenge, and I turned around quickly, and then he announced it, like name checked me basically on Facebook, and was like, this guy did it, he made this happen, blah 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 blah. And I'll tell you that single post, not only in my mind, I was like, well, dang, I'm a copywriter. That's what's up. But then it was we were able to eat from that basically for years off of that post. The referrals from that, got a 6-figure job off of that. Like, I mean, it was W-2, but whatever. So we ate off of that for a while, and it was just, this is possible. I can do this, and not only can I do this, like I'm really good at it. So awesome. that was the life-changing thing for me. Yeah. And Aaron, what about you, man? What was your most exhilarating, like the moment that if you relive it, you're instantly like on?
Yeah. it's funny because it's not it's business related, I guess. Winning the fibercross competition in August of 23 was actually a really big moment for me. And I think back, but in terms of like emotional highs, right? There are experiences where, you know, getting contracts for different jobs that have paid a lot of money. And those were very, like, I didn't feel badly about those at all. But in terms of like a strictly like this was an exhilarating experience, that one was. And when I look back, I think it's just because I put a lot of work on the front end to get to that point. And one thing I've become very convinced of is those real great highs that we experience in business and in life in general are very rarely, if ever, accidental. Like they don't just show up. Somebody doesn't just mail you $1 million and you're like, oh wow, like this is the best day ever. It's like that comes from work, and it's more, the more work you've done to get there, the more rewarding it is when you hit it. And you should relish that, right? It's you need to milk it. You know, if that means 20K in San Francisco with oysters and French cheese, like whatever that is, you should enjoy that moment. That's a great thing, and that's one of the great parts of being a human and having consciousness, is that we get to celebrate when we've done something cool. But it's always the best times for me have definitely been a result of a lot of work, and that particular event was something that I spent a lot of time working up to really refine that. And I'd come off of, you know, doing various speaking roles and public speaking in college, and I really liked that aspect, but that was the first time I was going to be, you know, not just graded, but actually awarded something to do well. And so that was a big moment for sure.
Definitely.
That was fun.
That was a lot of fun. So how do you balance the excitement of achieving your milestones with the realities of ongoing challenges, you know, in a startup environment,
Yeah, I would say, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with Fibonacci theory, but Fibonacci and Elliott wave theory is used in trading, but it actually the one who created it all throughout creation, not just trading. You just apply it to trading to predict what's going to happen. And there's 4 waves, and there's sometimes a 5th wave, but there's always retracement. And there's some different things about it. You guys should go in and read it. It's very, very fascinating. And it applies to real life. Like if you map out your life on your big highs and big lows and use Fibonacci to do it, you can see a pattern. It's so cool. And you can predict possibly that you're going to have another high, and you can predict if you're going to have another low. And I did this to myself, and I should go back and do it again just to see if I'm on a high or on a low. But it's very interesting because you can do the same thing to your bank account, and you can predict like if you're not going to have any money or if you might have money. You know, there's a lot of cool things, charting and stuff like that. But for me, when you're doing highs and lows, when you're having a high, you know, you praise the Lord, thank him for everything he's given you. And, you know, you pray when you're high, you pray when you're low, and you pray in between.
I think that something says pray without ceasing.
There's something in there.
Yeah, I think I read that once or twice.
What about you, Aaron?
You were talking earlier in the episode about how that realization of like how small your goals were when you hit 100,000 in 1 week, just kind of it reset the bar, right? It's like, oh, okay, this is possible. That's how when I'm really being purposeful and intentional, that's how I try to think about highs. Is those peaks are important, and you no matter like what happens after that, no matter what, you know, hits the fan and how bad you got to hustle immediately after a high, you know that was possible. You know you succeeded in that, and so you can get there, and you can now exceed it because that bar is now set here where it was a little bit lower prior. So that is always, for me, like that's just ongoing motivation to get through, because it's like, hey, we've already done this. You know, we overcame a challenge here, so this is a new challenge, but it has a good resolution that'll end in a win if we keep trucking away. So just, you know, using that as a reference point when you're battling through stuff. And yeah, you know, that those emotional experiences, you do want to keep them. You want to be careful, I guess, really just about your decision making. Try not to make critical decisions, I think, on either end of the spectrum, on either really extreme emotional high or low, because that's not the majority of your experiences, and your business doesn't want to have all of its critical decisions made at those 2 points. So try to enjoy them, work through them if it's going tough, but keep your critical decision making for more level-headed days.
That makes sense. Cool. So, what future high moments are you most looking forward to, and how do you plan to prepare for them?
Okay, yeah, I mean, we had this on a previous episode where I could almost guess what I thought your answer was going to be to this. So I should write my answer down on what I think. What would you answer this? Because I have a really good idea what you're thinking here, but I'm curious what you say to that.
What future high moments am I most looking forward to?
And what's the celebration going to be specifically too?
I mean, obviously, there's a big exit event. That of course could be obviously like, do I want somebody to come with $100 billion? Be like, yeah, we want it. Like, okay, great. That'd be awesome.
Now, what's your take on future high moments, Eric?
Future highs. If I was to venture down those paths, then I would say, yeah, getting I think the first milestone. I mean, we're kind of already in, but if you want to redo it and say like the first milestone is to get to our first 100K a month in reoccurring revenue, then that would be great. I would love that. And then the next goal would be get to 500K a month, and then the million a month, and then keep going and keep going. And yeah, exit events are cool. Would be open to that. I think what I really am looking forward to in the future is creating new things, new projects, new ideas. It's the entrepreneurial life. That's what I like. I don't want to be stuck for 30 years doing clean space. I want to go, I want to like do more projects, create more things. Maybe us three will do another project after this. Who knows? Like, that's what I look forward to, that kind of thing. That and just spending time with my family, having more time to where I can decide that I want to work today versus having to work. Like, I would like to be able to just take a week off and go travel somewhere with the kids without having to worry about anything, which is going back to that 100K a week. Like, I realized, wow, I could actually just go to Europe right now. I could just like anything, all the things my wife talked about wanting to go visit in the US, we could just leave and go do it whenever we want.
Yeah.
We could ride first class on the airplanes. We can eat at all the good restaurants. We can stay in all the good hotels. Like that was what I'm talking about. So I'm looking forward to getting back there. And you don't have to have a big sellout event in order to do that.
Right.
I'm ready to live life again, I guess. What about you?
I think a pretty big exit would be like, a future very big high moment. All of the work that I've done to this point, I've had various moments of success, but I've never had a particular exit from any traditional or software related venture yet. So that's definitely, that's an end goal. That would be huge. That would be pretty cool. And the way that I would celebrate, I have a list of 100 things actually that we plan to do over the course of our life.
Oh yeah, celebrating. I forgot.
Yeah, but for me, it's going to be initiating a very exclusive club called the Waiver Club, and everything that we do, and anybody can be on it, as long as you're, I guess of legal 18 or up. So friends, family, but every activity we do, you have to sign some sort of waiver for. So whether it's bungee jumping off of something crazy, jumping out of airplanes, the activity is going to require you to sign some liability waiver. So just high octane, high energy, potentially very risky experiences. And that's just something I plan on. My goal would be the Waiver Club, and we have an experience every month somewhere around the world where we're, getting together with people and doing something crazy. So, yeah.
One of the things that I wanted to do for a while is create I guess it would be more like a high-end piano bar or something like that. But it's set up like in like the 1800s would be, where it's like all leather, there's cigars, there's a piano person, there's high-end drinks, there's like a library where you can read or something.
Like
it's
a
just like pure
speakeasy
relaxation.
meets a piano bar.
Exactly. It's
Sorta.
just pure relaxation.
Yep.
And yeah, there'll be a smoking section, but then there'll be a non-smoking area too. So it's like divided up, but the smoking section will be fully ventilated. So it's not gonna be all, super smoky in there. But yeah, just having it would be like a square, but the square would be divided into 4 parts, and each part would have a different experience. But but just things guys love, like pool, hunting, in the pool area, all sorts of just fun stuff. Just that good manly man type of old fashioned feel.
Yeah.
I think that would be cool.
Goodly.
Yes. All right. Lightning round, fellas.
Lightning round.
What's your go-to feel-good song when you're riding on a high?
That's going to be something from my album, Driving in the Sun, which is mostly classic rock hits. So it's gonna be one of those. If I were to throw one, man, I'm trying to think. A top song is hard to pick these days.
Oh, I have mine.
Yeah.
What's that song called that we wanted to use as the opening song for Five Across?
Back in Black?
Back in Black. AC/DC.
Yeah.
That's a solid one. Yeah.
That's one for me.
I'm really partial to "You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet" by the Bachman Turner Overdrive. So I could probably.
That's a good one.
Walking on Sunshine, Katrina and the Waves.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Yes. So when we think about, and obviously, we kind of covered it. One of it was, well, if you could relive one single moment that's just a high from your entrepreneurial journey and different than one you shared before, what would that be?
This is not as lightning. I'm like, wait a minute. Let's see.
I don't know if I would want to relive any moment, because that would mean I would have to go back in time and give up what I have now.
Oh, snap.
And I don't know if I don't want to give up what I have now just to relive a moment, if you want to get technical.
I'm gonna get super technical. My answer might not be too far off from that, actually. It's almost like, for me, watching a really good movie, there are very, very, very few movies that I would watch a second time, even movies that I like a lot. Like, it's a super short list. I like that experience, and then I don't ever really want to see it again. I'll talk about it, I'll theorize about it, but I mean, there is a really short list of movies that I'd want to watch a second time, and for really special reasons. So I'm kind of like that too. I'm like, why I really love that experience, but I don't know that I necessarily want to have it all over again. Like, even skydiving, like, first time I went skydiving was crazy, but like, I'll never be able to relive that exact thing again, because it's never going to be that extreme, that wild as the first time. So I'm probably probably similar.
Plus, if I went back in time and I relived a moment, I would know, like, the lows that are getting ready to happen too. You know what I mean? It's like, you can take the San Francisco thing. I would see that coming. I would want to change that.
Yeah.
And if I changed it, well, then I'm giving up my entire future up to this point. But if I went and relived it, like, you can't just relive your highs. You have to relive the lows too. Do I want to relive the lows? No, those are hard. Lots of trusting has to go into that. So, I'm still here, guys. I'm still here. Let's not test fate again.
Fair enough.
Do you have something in particular, Yummy, you'd really like to relive after we've just like dumped philosophically on that idea?
I really like the 5 across victory. That was just basically the winning the August event, and just the rest of the night.
Yeah,
just the the
that was fun.
Lost Palm, all that. It was a really good time. And what happened? Okay. So it was a really good time, and I just enjoyed that.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I enjoyed it too. I enjoyed the whole thing. That was great.
Eric up early the next morning, I think, for a podcast that same time. We had a good time all the way around.
That was the one with the mics, though. We had mics. We didn't have to hold a mic.
Right.
Yeah.
Eric still is a little burned from holding mics.
I don't do the whole mic. So if anyone wants to book us for a podcast, you need to make sure the mics are.
That's the only line item under Eric's requirements. There's no mic. Like, everything else is good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
All right, gents. Well, that's we've reached our time, and I just appreciate it. It was good hanging out with you guys today.
It was fun.
Always fun.
Cool.
Namaste.
No, man, it's like, are you about to do that?
Did you really namaste?
You did. You did.
That's
All right. Good times.
the